What if Adam wasn't just the first man, but the first throne? Before sin entered the world, a soul was formed to house all of heaven. This is not just a story about a man. It's about what heaven saw when God made you. After 5 days of glory, God did not rest. He paused, not to admire, but to prepare. Because something greater than beasts and angels was about to emerge. A being to carry not just life, but the likeness of God himself. And then the voice echoed through eternity, "Let us make man." But who was he speaking to? Not just to the angels. Not only within the circle of the Trinity. God was speaking to everything he had made, to light, wind, water, fire. To spirit, substance, and silence. To himself. He summoned all of creation into divine collaboration to form a vessel that could contain him and reflect all that he is. A being in whom eternity and dust would meet. A soul that could host the infinite. A mirror of the invisible. In the beginning, the Spirit of God hovered over the waters of the earth. Not in rest, but in search. Searching for a place to dwell. But he found none until day 6. When Adam rose from the clay, and finally there stood a being worthy of his Spirit's rest. That is why the Bible says, "And God rested on the 7th day." But he who never sleeps nor slumbers didn't rest in sleep. He rested in man's soul. This was the true Sabbath, and this is why Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11, verse 28. Adam was not just alive, he was anointed. God breathed his breath into clay and made a temple. Not a temple built by hands, but of blood and thought and glory. In our image, in our likeness. Genesis 1, verse 26. Adam rose not as a servant, but a sovereign. He was crowned with dominion. Rule over the fish, the birds, and every living thing. And so he did. The wind obeyed his gesture. The beasts bowed at his name. Creation worshipped him. He was the God of this world, not in deity, but in delegation. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 4, the earth was his kingdom. And when he fell, he sold that throne to Lucifer. But Adam was more than a man, he was a living prophecy. Christ is called the last Adam, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 45. Why? Because the first Adam was his blueprint. A king, a priest, a temple, whose entire being whispered of the one who would come to finish what he failed. And when Adam stood, all creation marveled. Though angels were more powerful, Adam was made to house not just authority, but God himself. That's why Jesus said, "What shall it profit a man if he gains the world and loses his soul?" Mark 8, verse 36, because the soul was more precious than galaxies. It is the seat of God's throne. This is why the